Hi, welcome to the Ollie and Bella podcast. I reckon this is probably take 4 or 5. So I'm going to see if I can film this podcast in sections because it's still pretty busy at home. I better tell you a little bit about myself. So anyway, this is episode 11 and I think it's been 2 or 3 weeks since I filmed my last podcast, and thank you so much to everybody who watched it, all your lovely comments. Yes, so I've got I've had a few new subscribers, so I think I probably best introduce myself. And I know watching lots of other podcasts, it's always nice to have a little introduction at the start of them, isn't it? So I'm Shorty. I live in the UK with my husband, 3 children, 2 pussycats, so that's why it's pretty hectic, and that's why you might hear a little bit of background noise, and I will do my best to try and edit anything out. But I'm trying to film this in sections. Normally I film of an evening because that's when it's the quietest. The weather hasn't been, it's not been great. We've been very lucky with lovely beautiful sunshine, but the last couple of days or so it's been a little bit grey, so every so often it may look like the sun's popping out and then it may look like it's gone all grey again. So I'm going to see if I can film little snippets throughout the afternoon. Just means that I can edit this video this evening with the hope that I can get it out tomorrow. And after that ramble, I can't remember what I've spoken about now. We live in the UK, we live in a lovely part of the country called Devon, and I think that's about it. You can find me on Instagram as Ollie and Bella and Ravelry. I will pop links down below. And yeah, I think that's probably enough ramble. What are we on, 2 minutes or so? Let's get to the first part of the podcast, and I'm going to chat to you about current whips. Now, last podcast, I think I shared 3 whips. I've not picked up any of those whips. I did share with you new cast-ons, which I wanted to start, and I have, I've got all of them in front of me, so that's what I'm going to show you now. First up is a new one that I don't think I chatted about this one. Now, at the start of the podcast, you would have seen I shared a little section, a little video, series of clips of dyeing some yarn, which was so much fun. I had a go at dyeing some mohair for the first time. That was interesting. I thought I had ruined the mohair. Turns out, thankfully, I didn't. After chatting to a couple of friends who reassured me, no, it's fine. That's what happens to mohair when it gets wet. But what I'll do is, because the camera is set across the table, I will stand up and I will show you. This is the mohair that I dyed. So the first whip is the Kobuk. The Kobuk, you have to excuse my pronunciations for things. Now, this is a pattern by Caitlin Hunter. I don't have the front page, but it's a paid for pattern. Well, I'm sure it is a paid for pattern. I'll put all links to these patterns down below or in Ravelry, but I'm going to chat to you about Ravelry in a bit. This is a little illustration that's on the pattern. So you've got some bobbles. It reminds me very much of the cabin sweater. It looks literally like it's come from that, the inspiration. Right, let's show you the mohair, shall I? Because that's what you want to see, isn't it? Interrupted already. Okay, so that's the mohair. Now the pattern calls for DK and mohair, so I want the mohair to really stand out, and so I didn't want to I was umming and ahhing. I couldn't decide whether or not this base, the DK, needed to be colour. But I've stuck with the white. Now this is obviously undyed, and this is from my stash. This is from when I got my yarn last year from, I've chatted about this before, the Sample It sale. And so this is Sheila's Gold DK. So that's the base that I'm using. And so together, I've just got it in my wee bra bag. Perfect size actually for this project, because they both fit in there together. This little bag's a little drawstring bag. It's got little pockets on the front. Love it. Okay. Now I did have to, I will show you the hat in a minute. I've only done the first few rounds of the hat, because you start off on 3.5s, which I did have, luckily enough, but then you do move up to 4s. I didn't have the 4s, so I needed to order them. But this is what I've done so far. And already the little fluffy halo that you can see is lovely. And it's really exciting. I mean, it's exciting when you're knitting from yarn that you've dyed yourself, but especially to see how the colours look when they've been knitted. Right. Isn't it pretty? So yeah, like I say, I haven't done a lot, have I? That is living in there, so I can show you that one, and then hopefully on the next podcast I will be able to show you my progress for that one. Oh, and I'm going to use this fluffy alpaca pom-pom that I got when I met up with my lovely friend. And we visited Wool on the X. I met up with Gaynor, which is on May's vlogs from last year. Yeah, crazy, isn't it? Right, let's pop that away. We've chatted about that, so I can tick. I'm going to do my teacher thing now. Tick it off. Okay, next up, socks. So while we're chatting about yarn that I dyed, we might as well move on to socks. This again is a new whip that I don't think I chatted to you about last time. So I think since then, this is a new one. Don't you find it really funny when you reach for a project bag and then you're like, I've been looking for them. I find all sorts in mine. Okay, so this is the next project. Socks. And this was the other yarn that I think actually, thinking about it now, in the video, I think I showed the mohair, but dyeing the mohair. This is the other skein that I dyed, and this is 4-ply. And these are all the colours. I kind of got carried away. And one thing which I need to learn when dyeing yarn, less is more. However, after seeing how this yarn knits up, I'm really pleased with it. I've fallen in love with it. But Bella saw this and instantly was like, can you make something with that for me, please, Mummy? So I'm making her socks. Now, last time I made Bella socks, she wasn't too happy with them. They fit, but they did fit. But I think because it was DK, West Yorkshire Spinners yarn, she didn't like the feel of them. I'm hoping she likes the feel of these. She's tried them on for size and they fit perfectly. Now I thought to try and keep it a short project and not take too long, I wanted to knit some shorties. Now I had a little look on Ravelry and I found this lovely pattern, and this pattern is from the kitchen sink shop, and these are called the Wish You Were Here socks. Isn't that lovely? It's a free pattern and it's really, really lovely. So I've already done one, which is great. Let me put it on this sock blocker for you to show you. It's got a really pretty lace section in it. It's a really lovely repeat. So if you are new to sock knitting and all you've done at the minute up until now, you've made vanilla socks, but you fancy doing something else, I would definitely recommend this pattern. And whilst this pattern it's written for, like, as what am I trying to say? Shorties. That's what I'm trying to say. You can make this longer, of course. But this is the really pretty lace detail. And now you can hear Oliver on the computer, I think. Look at the yarn. I'm really happy with that. Doesn't it look great? It's showing up really well on camera, actually. So slip stitch heel, and then you've got your gusset. And don't think I can say anything else. The only other thing I can say, I didn't change anything apart from the cuff. It was a 1x1. Let me check the pattern. I've got itchy nose now with the mohair. It was a 1x1 twisted rib, I think, for the cuff. No, it wasn't. It was knit 1x1. I'm not a fan of 1x1 cuffs, purely because I think, for me, when I'm knitting them, they always look so messy. They don't look as neat and tidy when I knit them. So I've gone for my favourite, which is a 2x2 twisted rib. So that's what I did. So everything else is exactly as the pattern calls for. And I can see myself knitting a pair of these. I have already cast on the second sock because, let me just show you that a minute. I didn't want to get second sock syndrome, but I think because I'm knitting these for Bella, I should be okay. She definitely keeps me on my toes. I think, sorry about that, I had a sneezing fit. And I thought that probably wouldn't be great to watch or listen to. So I have cast on the second sock already, and hopefully they shouldn't take too long. I think that one took me about a week, here and there, picking it up when I can. That's living in my first ever project bag I made. Oh, look at that! How funny. Better take it off there now. They always look so lovely when people put their socks on sock blockers and you can see the pattern. It always looks so nice. Okay, so I've shown you that one. Take it off my list. Okay, so moving on to the next whip, I'm going to chat to you about my Snuggle down, and it's living in my, whoops, sorry, I knocked the table. It's living in my dodgy bag that I made for the dodgy bag mail, and that's finished now. It was so much fun seeing everyone's bags that they'd made. Okay, now I did chat about this in my previous, like I say, my previous episode, so if you want to go back and watch that, you can. I will put links to any make-alongs I'm chatting about, and I'll leave, I'll try and add the hashtags to the screen. Sometimes when I'm editing, sometimes I do forget to do that, so apologies if I do, but you can always message me on Instagram or Ravelry. I will come to that in a bit. I want to chat to you about Ravelry. Anyways, this is part of Jules's make-along, and I've wrote the hashtag down here because on the previous episode it was a different hashtag, but the hashtag is, and I will try and remember to put it up on the screen somewhere, SSV Magic Knot Ball Along. And the idea is, Jooles thought it would be fun to make a magic knot ball with all our beautiful bits, because I don't know if you're like anything like me, and I reckon all crafters are like this. I am sorry, the mohair now is making me itch or sneeze. We don't get rid of anything, do we? And I had, like I say, I had lots of little scrappy leftovers from socks, from my Soul Sisters socks, from other projects, and I wanted to make a knot ball with them anyway, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do with them to begin with, And then when I was watching Jooles' podcast and she mentioned doing a fun make-along using a knot ball, I knew then that, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So this is what mine looks like now. And it doesn't have to be knitting, you could crochet something, you can decide what you want to make. It could be socks, it could be a hat. I decided to make another snuggle down because I had, again, in my Scrappy bowl that I had some Surrey alpaca left over from when I made my wrist warmers at Christmas time, and it feels so soft. If for instance mohair makes you feel itchy or irritates you, I definitely recommend, if you can try some Surrey alpaca, it feels totally different. It's so soft, it's like a fluffy cloud, it's gorgeous. And this is what it's looking like. It's so much fun knitting and then waiting until the next colour comes in, because you don't know when that's going to happen. So I love this little pop of neon highlighter yellow at the top, and it's different all the way around because of course the colours finish and then the next one starts. This has already been nabbed, so to speak. I bet you can't guess who. When I made my snuggle down, did I make it last year, at the start of this year? I can't remember now. Isabel loved it. I'd be like, have you got my snuggle down on? she loves wearing it. So this is going to be for Bella. And I think that's it. That's all I need to say about that one. Hopefully next time I see you, I need to get that one finished, but we'll see. Hopefully I can. I've got socks to do as well. Right, let me tick that one off. Pop across to Jooles' Instagram and podcast, but have a look for the links down below as well, actually. It's so much fun to join in. Right, next up, I'm going to chat to you about my Bits and Bobs blanket, which is living in my gorgeous Badge Street UK bag. Look at that fabric, isn't that fabric just brilliant? I'm sorry, I have to like try and check that the camera is focusing. I reckon everyone must do that. I haven't done a lot because you can tell I've been busy getting my been busy casting everything on, that's why. Again, another rabbit hole, another magic knot ball. I frogged my crochet granny stripe corner to corner, so it wasn't a traditional granny stripe. I tried to be different and do a corner to corner, and I wasn't loving it. So I frogged it, turned it into another humongous magic knot ball, and I'm making the Bits and Bobs blanket by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears. Again, I did. I did print off the front cover. Now this is a paid for pattern. You can find this one on Kay's website and Ravelry. And again, this one is another fun project using your leftovers, your minis. This would be great for around Advent time. This is what I've done so far. I am holding it with a strand of, so this is the third and final yarn that you would have seen at the start of the podcast that I dyed, and I was trying to go for a real subtle, oh, I think the camera's trying to focus and it's struggling. I was trying to go for a really subtle look with this one, and I'm really happy with it. It's a gold stellina. It has some very soft peach sections to it with the odd speckle. I will stand up and show you a close-up. And now I will show you the And I've got my little duck progress keeper that I made. To mark the front row. Focus, I'm back. And yeah, there's not really much more I can chat to you about really about this one. I'm just going to keep adding to this. I will keep knitting, and then once I get to the end, obviously, I will then add in some new scrappy bits from projects. I've got my lovely leftovers here from when I made my shawl that I shared with you last week. Not last week, a couple of weeks ago or so. Love that yarn. Look at those colours. They are gorgeous. Right. I think when this one's finished, I've got a feeling I'm not going to dye this one. I think I'm just going to leave this one bare just to see how it looks. Right, now I've got to pack that away in there so that I don't make a huge mess. Oops. Okay. Well, now it's gone all grey again now. All grey and cloudy. Okay. Done. So that section there, we did it. And I'm going to move on to finished projects. I've got 1.5. I'm going to say the sock is the 0.5. And then I'm going to show you my dishcloth. Now, last week, I keep saying last week, it wasn't last week, was it? A couple of weeks ago. Well, I should just say last podcast, shouldn't I? I had already started this one, hadn't I? Yes, I had started the Wondrous dishcloth, and again, this was part of another make-along, hosted by the lovely Kelly, Lay Family Yarns, and Kelly chatted about this in her her last podcast. I can't remember what episode it was now, but again, I'll leave links, and I also put links below on the previous podcast if you want to go back and have a look. But this is the Stolen Moments Mal, and let's find out, what did I do? Yes, 3.5. So I decided to knit the Wondrous dishcloth because I have a huge pile of cotton, and I've not sewn the back of it yet. I need to sort that out. And I thought it'd be great to make some more dishcloths because we needed some, and also these would make great gifts, wouldn't they? And great Christmas gifts. So I thought I'd make a start on my Christmas knitting. Oh, the sun's come out. And so I finished it. Now it's it's funny because it's got this pink section here, and it does remind me of the squishy sweets that you can get. Is it called the squishums or the squashums? And there's a particular flavour called rhubarb and custard, and it looks literally exactly the same as this, where it's got the peachy section and the pink section. But it's great because it's using up your yarns, isn't it? So my tension came out slightly looser, but that's okay. That doesn't matter. It's a dishcloth. It's going to get used. That is the main thing. And these type of patterns are great if you are new to knitting and you want to make something that is practical, that you know you're going to use, and I definitely recommend. On the back is like a plain knit, stockinette stitch, and then in the pattern, I won't say too much because it is a paid for pattern, but if you hop along to, if you click on the link below to Kelly's episode, there is a discount code if you did want to make the dishcloth. That's it there. Okay, that's that one. So that's the only finished project I've got, but that's okay. I'm fine with that. Things do take me a little bit longer. I tend to, apart from the fact that I've just cast on 4 new projects. I tend to try and focus on one project and get it finished, but that's not happening. Hopefully the socks won't take long. Hats, they don't take long to make, do they? And as for the blanket, that is a long-term project, so I don't feel any pressure when it comes to that at all. And the snuggle down, that's not a very long project. That shouldn't take too long either. Right, I'm going to take that off now. Let's have a look. What section next? I think it's going to be Happy Mail coming up, and I wanted to chat to you about some art supplies. In the last episode, when it came to editing it, I hadn't realised that I filmed a whole section showing you and chatting to you about some new art supplies that I bought. And it wasn't till I was editing it and uploading it that I thought, where was the whole section that I was showing you about the paints? I chatted about the paint palette, but I did actually open it up and show you some of the paints and some of the other supplies that I bought, but for some reason the camera had stopped recording, so I feel like you're a little bit wonky. Maybe I'm wonky. I hope it's not wonky. I would really hate to have to video it all again. Are you wonky? Or am I wonky? It's been a few hours since I was last on chatting to you. The children have had their tea. Jessie's just up having a shower, so I'm going to see if I can film this next section quickly while she's having a shower upstairs. Jamie is with her, and then the chances are I will film the last section once she's gone to sleep. So what have we? So we've chatted about current whips, finished projects. And I think I quickly mentioned, didn't I, about the art section from the last podcast, which got missed out. So I'm going to share that with you in a bit, as well as some Happy Mail. But before I do that, I wanted to chat to you about something really exciting. I have been getting to know my lovely new friend Nikki, who is also known as Clara Peggotty, and Nikki has the podcast called Sheep and Cheerful. Isn't that a great name for a podcast? And we've been chatting lots, and it's been really lovely getting to know Nikki. The more we've been chatting, the more we keep learning how much we've got in common. Obviously our faith, our love for crafting, reading, there's lots and lots. So we have been discussing lots of different make-alongs and lots of other projects which we still need to fine-tune. But one thing which I'm going to chat to you about and share with you, which is really exciting, and Nikki will chat more next week. Nikki will probably go into a little bit more detail next week on her next podcast as well. But this kind of links in with something else that I want to share with you in the Happy Mail section. Now, I think a few of you lovely people have popped over from Nikki's podcast, so hi. And you probably have already seen Nikki mention in chat about her lovely project. Right, I've been getting myself in such a muddle, haven't I, Nikki? Right, okay, did write these down. I might be interrupted in a minute by Maisie, my pussycat. Oh, hi Maisie. So these are the lovely project record card books. And the idea behind this, Nikki came up with a fab idea. And if you're anything like me, where you have every intention on keeping a record of what craft you're working on, what project it is, what yarn you use, what pattern, what size needles, what size hook, and then you never manage to get around to doing it. And Nikki came up with this fab idea. So this is the project, oh, she's going to jump up. So this is the project record book. Oops, look at that one. Nikki designed the front. It's perfect. Look at the colours. And the idea is, when you set up your project bag, you reach for one of these record cards. Let me take one off of the rings here to show you in detail. And you've got a front cover, so it's great if you love other crafts like journaling, art, all those other crafts, paper crafts. You can tie in with this, which is again a brilliant idea. So you've got a plain cover up on the front for you to decorate. She's rubbing herself on the lavender now, and I intend on taking like a picture of either the yarn or the finished project or halfway through the project, and you can attach that to the front, which is great. And then on the back is where you put all your project details. So you've got the designer, the yarn, the needles, what size you made, started, finished, and any other details that you want to add to that, you can add. And I just think that's absolutely fantastic. And when Nikki first chatted about these, it's not going to focus. There you go. When Nikki first chatted about these, I was literally chatting back through the screen saying, yes, that would be brilliant. I bought a notebook a year, 2 years ago, and it was going to be a book just basically on socks, so that I could try and write down different socks I'd made, try and find like the perfect sock recipe, different heels, toes. I never got around to doing it. And another great thing, you can pop a little hole punch and attach some of your yarn to it as well, so it makes it tactile as well. And then when you finish, you take the card out of your project bag and then you attach it, and it's great for all crafts. So Nikki's also designed some project cards for inside, so if you spin, I know she wants to do one for crochet, and I think there's going to be some more as well, and you could easily add tabs. So I will leave a link. I'll leave a link to Nikki's details where you can find it, but I definitely recommend you pop across and have a little look. Watch Nikki's podcast from last week, no, this week, and I will pop links below, because if you are interested, Nikki has these in her Etsy shop now. You can buy them with the front covers as well, and there's a selection of front covers that are great. They include, I think, 10 of the project cards inside, the rings, and she will also send you the PDF download so that you can just keep adding to it. Or if you want, you can, on her Etsy as well, she does have the download, the PDF download, for a very, very small amount of money, which I think is fantastic. Yes. After that little ramble, Nikki very kindly sent me this one and some gorgeous minis, which I can show you in a minute. And as a little thank you, when I was chatting to her, I said, oh, do you, I'd love to send you some Scrappy minis or leftovers. Do you have any Scrappy projects, like a Scrappy blanket? And she said, you know, I do, but I'm not really working on anything. And then she reached for her blanket. She had a little look, and she pulled out a blanket, and she's fallen back in love with it. And she said, you know what, yeah, that would be great. So from that, and we were chatting about different make-alongs anyway, we have decided to do a Scrappy blanket make-along, and it's going to be called the Scrappy Blanket Adventures, which I think is great. What a great name. And it's going to be, when we were chatting about the details, obviously blankets take a long time, don't they? Especially if it's a blanket that you're adding your leftovers from when you finished other projects. Like for me, I guess I made my magic knot ball, but I had my yarn left over from my Free Your Fade shawl. When it comes to finishing the socks for Bella, I'll probably have a little bit left over from that. So it takes time. Or it may be that you've got lots of lovely minis, and it may be that you get one finished you know, quickly. But we've said a year long, but I reckon, depending on how popular or how people are getting on, maybe that it just carries on. So we've said like a year long. And what else? I've got my notes in front of me. We are going to set up Ravelry threads for them. So I guess pop across, I'm going to put a thread up. Hopefully by the time this goes out, there'll be a thread up in mine and Nikki's where you can chat away, decide what patterns you're going to use. Like I say, it doesn't have to be knitted or it can be knitted or crocheted. It's entirely up to you. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a new cast on. If you have a blanket that you've already started, for instance, my bits and blobs, bits and bob blanket, if it's less than halfway finished, that's absolutely fine. You can join that one in. That one can take apart. And it may be that you get one finished within this time frame and then start a new one, which is absolutely fine. And my Ravelry, sadly, has not been used much. I'm to blame for that. But I would love to inject some life into it again. And so we thought it'd be fun. I know Nikki's just recently set her Ravelry up as well. So anyway, details will be down below. Pop across, start chatting. If you've got a blanket that you want to add into it, or if you're thinking of starting a blanket, it might be that someone's already started a blanket that you are interested in, and you can have a chat with them about it, share ideas for patterns, share what kind of yarns you're using. If you're using minis, maybe you've got an advent that's still sitting in your stash that you're thinking, what are you going to do with it? Might be that you want to start a new blanket. So yes, we would love for you to join in our Scrappy Blanket Adventures make-along. I think that's it for that one. Did I mention everything, Nikki? If not, like I say, Nikki will go into some more detail next week on her podcast. But of course, we're both online, so if you wanted to chat to us about it, you can do. And now Maisie is sat on the page that I need to... Maisie, I need to move you across. Can you move? Can you move, my lovely? Tail in the face. And of course, with make-alongs, there will be prizes. We've not decided yet on what the prizes will be, but it may be the fact that it's a long time frame. It might be that every so many months we might just pick a number or pick a name out of a hat. I'm not sure how we would do that on Ravelry. I know every time you comment it leaves a number, doesn't it? Oh, I'm sorry about the noise. I think that's Jessie jumping up and down. It's very noisy. Yes, so with make-alongs, of course there'll be prizes. And I guess because it is a long time frame, it might be that every so many months we take it in turns and we pick out a number, a name. I'm just trying to think how it works on Ravelry. I did do a giveaway once on there a while ago. I think every time you comment it's a number, isn't it? So I think you can almost take away your first number, because that will be myself or Nikki when we set up the thread, the chatter threads. And then I think you can put into a random number, can't you? I don't know, we'll sort something out, but all I'm going to say is it's going to be a really fun make-along. Okay, so I reckon we can move on to the Happy Mail section. I haven't got the art supplies with me, but I will go and get them. So what I'll do is I will sort myself out and sort Maisie out, and I will be back. Jessie's in bed now, so I'm going to do this last little section, and then hopefully I'm going to get the video clips edited so I can get this one uploaded for you tomorrow. So I was chatting to you about, where's my notes, about the project record books, and I was going to show you the yarns that Nikki sent with them. See if we can, how am I going to do this? Do you know, I always get really excited when I get mini skeins. They're so cute. Look at those colours. Yes. I was going to mention as well that if you would like to donate any prizes for any of our make-alongs, I know obviously I've only chatted about the Scrappy blanket adventures that we're doing, but we do have more make-alongs and projects lined up. So if you're a yarn dyer, a project bag maker, a maker, and there's something that you would like to donate as a prize, and that would be wonderful, thank you. You can get in touch with me via Ravelry or Instagram, and that would be great and very much appreciated, so thank you. I'm gonna, I know I've got the art, let's get the art section done, and then I've just got a couple of other little happy mail bits to share with you. So last podcast I was chatting to you about this lovely watercolour palette that I bought from my lovely friend Natalie. Natalie and her husband have an art shop in Dundee, and they have been so busy. So they have a physical shop that you can visit, but they also have an online shop as well, and they've been super busy. Now I've been chatting to Natalie about, there's so many different palettes, and I wanted to get back into watercolours. So I went for this palette here, and it has 18 half pans and 2 watercolour tubes. It's got a little sponge here, and it's got a size 6 brush. And the lid is where you use your palette section for you to mix in your colours. See if I can bring it up to the camera and show you. See if I can do it like that. You can see the half pans and the tubes there. Now, I printed off some cards from the lovely Brianna, who I absolutely love her Instagram feed. It is full of beautiful pictures, and really inspiring watercolours. Brianna shares a lot about her faith as well, being a Christian, and she also does a lot of work for Illustrated Faith, which again I will try and leave links below, where if you enjoy Bible journaling, you can go on and you can download some of their they have lots of different artists, and Brianna is one of their artists, and just her work and the way she uses her colour and her designs, I just love everything that she produces. Anyway, on her Instagram page, she designed these little cards, and they're like little swatch cards, and what I love about them is there's a space here, and what she's been doing is she's been swatching different shades, and then she's been naming them, which is lots of fun. But anyway, I wanted to swatch the new shades because of course when you get a new palette you want to see what the colours look like, so I'll try and show you them up close. So what I did with this one, this is where I didn't dilute the paints down that much, and then look at the difference just by adding more water and having the paints a lot more diluted. It creates the pastels. Look at that. Now this one is a mixture. Now don't look at those two, or that one actually. So the colours I showed you a minute ago on the other swatch card and this one, they are all from this palette, which I have used, and I will show you a lovely little watercolour that I did. When did I do that? Earlier this week, or was it last week, in one of the sketchbooks that I bought. So from Natalie I got the palette, and Natalie was very kind and included in some lovely little prezzies, and I'm sure I showed the lovely little crochet heart and the little wax melt on the previous podcast, but I don't think I showed this one, and this is a sample of a new paint, I think she said, a new watercolour, and it has a beautiful shimmer, like a metallic finish to it, which I've not tried yet. Now, I then placed an order with another online art shop, and I was really interested in trying, I'm probably not going to pronounce this correctly now, gouache. I'm sure some of you are probably shouting at the camera at me, but this is, these were the neon, so I wanted some really bright neon colours. So you can see the rose there and the orange there, the coral, and these are the paints, and I've got a black there as well. Now these are, they're still to be used with water, so they're very similar to watercolours, except you can build on, you can work on top of them. So for instance, without them bleeding through. So once it's dry, if I wanted to, I could get the black here, or the pink, and you can work on top of them. So I really like that idea that you can layer the paints with them. Let me put those swatch cards in there. I also got a size 0 paintbrush. Oh, let me try and hold all three of these together. And a couple of pencils, another HB and an F. And they are living in my mug, which is it was actually broken. Believe it or not, it was a really clean break, and I've been able to glue it back together because it's probably not showing up on camera, but it's got a really neat break all the way around, like the whole bottom just come away. But it's too lovely to get rid of, in case there's no need to get rid of it. So this is now on my little desk area in the corner. So I've got my brushes over here, the ones that I got. Also got a white jelly roll marker pen in the size 08, and I got a pack of these pens from Amazon, and these are called the Pigma Micron, and I've got them in a range of nib sizes. Got a really good selection. Let me show you the name of them. They're meant to be watertight, so you can use them with watercolours without them bleeding. And I use them in my little, well, the other thing I got from Amazon was some art masking fluid, which I want to have a little go at, play with that. I thought that'd be really fun. I'm sure I saw someone do a rainbow. It might have been Shader Campbell. I have been following Shader's YouTube channel for a little while actually, and I find that by watching someone paint, I find it really, really relaxing. And if you're interested in learning some new techniques and you're interested in watercolour paints, it's not just watercolours, she does have some other techniques where she's using watercolour pencils or brushes, like brush pens. Take a look at her YouTube. So I will show you. There's also a little vloggy section at the end of this video, and it's showing you the process of me creating this little sketch really, and it's a tutorial that I followed from Shader, and here it is. So I used the watercolours so the watercolours we used first of all, a couple of roses, foxglove, sweet peas, and then I used a couple of the different micron pens over the top just to add the detail in, and it was so much fun, so much fun. There's so many tutorials on on Shader's YouTube channel. It's great. Next time I think I want to do something which is just watercolours, and this is my little watercolour book that I've got. I did also buy a really big pad. It did cost a little bit of money, but I bought the bigger size knowing that I can actually cut the pages down for smaller little projects if I want to. And then I got some of these clips off eBay, which are lovely, especially for journaling, Bible journaling or just normal journaling, for your diaries, as well as using them. These two were on my, were on here for when I come to work on my next page. Is that it for that? Yeah. Okay, so we managed to actually record the art section this week. So that's a bonus, isn't it? Happy about that. Now I shared the happy mail from Nikki. I've got some more happy mail from a lovely follower on my Instagram account, Karen, who also follows me on, who's also a subscriber, sorry, to the podcast. So, yeah, it's lovely. It's always really lovely when I hear from you. And Karen contacted me because, let me flick to my next lot of notes. She'd seen that I entered a giveaway on Instagram, and the giveaway was to win a skein of this lovely yarn, and Karen was the lucky winner. Now this yarn, so this is a new to me yarn dyer, and the yarn dyer is Mr. and Mrs. Rabbit Yarns. That is their logo there. Come on, camera. And you can find them on Instagram. And yeah, I was tagged, one of my lovely friends tagged me in a giveaway to win this lovely yarn. Now this yarn is very special because this was a, this skein is special because it was dyed for VE Day, and it's called Keep Smiling Through, which I thought was brilliant. So Karen contacted me and said, I noticed that you entered the giveaway and I was lucky enough to win the yarn, and I've made some, I'm sure she made socks with it, and I've got a little bit left over. Would you be interested? Would you like me to send it to you? So I said, that's so lovely and kind of you. You sure you don't need it or want to use it for any other further projects? And she said, no, that's absolutely fine. I'd really like to send it to you. So thank you, Karen. That was really kind and thoughtful. And look at those colours. Aren't they fab? And the name of the yarn is just great. Of course, it was the 75th anniversary, wasn't it, this year? Keep Smiling Through. And she spoiled me. So she didn't just send that. She sent a gorgeous box of lots of other little goodies. Some really lovely Bird and Blend tea. Now, funnily enough, I've got this here to show you that I wanted to say I got this last year. And I don't have a lot of Bird and Blend tea. I only have the, what's it called? Is it called Wizard's Brew? Can't remember what it is now. It's very similar to butterbeer if you really like, if you're a Harry Potter fan. And it's normally really popular and sells out. And I had this little sample, which is blueberry and peach, and I used it up. You would have seen it at the start of the vlog. I made a really lovely iced tea with it, and it was delicious. Sorry, we got interrupted. I'm literally right at the end now, so I'm mindful that it's getting a little bit darker now. So I was chatting to you about this lovely Bird and Blend tea sachet that Karen had popped in the little parcel for me, and this is the flavour Dark Choc Chili Chai. That's going to be yummy, isn't it? Yeah, and at the beginning of the podcast you would have seen I was making a loose tea, and this was it, the Blueberry and Peach by Bird and Blend. There's not many, I've not tried many of their flavours, but they all sound absolutely delicious. So thank you, Karen. I will look forward to trying that. And there's a noisy crow outside now. And it smelled amazing when I opened it up. Look at this, a beautiful lavender sachet, which Maisie was rubbing herself against. It's got a lovely little ribbon loop on it. I'm going to put this in my wardrobe, which is lovely. And then look at I've never seen these before, anything like this. These beautiful little hanging decorations, which looks like, it reminds me of English paper piecing, but I'll have to ask Karen how she did it. Look at the fabrics, look at that one, look at the colours. So I've got those two. And then I've got this lovely yarn. I bet you can hear that noisy crow, can't you? I can actually see him. Come on. There you go. That one. And then this lovely pack. Love all those colours. I've not opened it up properly yet, but she's added some tags in there for the names of them, some of the yarn dyers. So, and a lovely, lovely card which I've got up on my mantle of a beautiful blackbird who comes. It reminds me of the lovely blackbird that comes to visit her. So, thank you, Karen. That was very, very kind and thoughtful of you. Okay, one more thing. I bought some yarn. So Jane from Hedgerow Yarns has relaunched her shop, and how cute is that? And I had a little look and saw this beautiful sock set. It came with a lovely little bag of lavender, and I haven't even opened it yet. How good am I? Look at the little tiddler. I love that she calls these little ones tiddlers. Look, I love this tissue paper. So I'm not going to apologise for the rustling. Because remember what I said? If you can hear rustling, that means good things coming. Right, let's try and open this so that I don't rip all the tissue paper too much. There you go. A little bit more rustling. Oh my. Oh my. So this is mauled. Wow. Absolutely beautiful. Okay. That's the details on the back. Gorgeous. And we're done. Focus. Thank you so much for watching if you made it all the way to the end. And like I say, I will try my best to remember to leave all the links below and any hashtags or names on the screen. And stay tuned. There's some little vloggy bits at the end. And I will see you all hopefully maybe in a couple of weeks' time. I hope you're all keeping yourselves well and safe, and take care. Bye.